This video is brought to you by the FMB Shop, where you can find some of the best Scale 400 models. Find the link in the video description below. Having a very elaborate livery on an aircraft model is certainly a nice thing, but sometimes manufacturers take this as an opportunity to skip out on other details. After all, the customers won't notice, or do they? Well, what is the case with this aircraft model? We'll find out right after the drop. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 737-800 of Alaska Airlines. Now at the front of the box we have a lovely schematic of the aircraft and already some details of the livery. Then on the back side of the box we have the same schematics again. We do also find a little explanation as to the background of the livery and the name of the livery, which I will not try to pronounce because I will just embarrass myself, but luckily there's also an English translation basically which says Salmon People. So yeah, that's basically what the livery allures to the indigenous people of Alaska and their relation to the salmon. And here she is, the Boeing 737-800 in the Salmon People special livery of Alaska Airlines. What a fantastic looking aircraft model. At least the livery is spectacular, but what can the model itself offer? Well, that is what we want to find out, and the best way to do so is simply by taking a closer look at it, starting off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have this lovely painting sign of a salmon. Really awesome designs that has been put onto this aircraft in real life and also on this aircraft model replicated really rather well. On the fuselage we then have the full registration code of the aircraft and the flag of the United States of America. What we also find here at the back section of the aircraft is actually the Alaska Airlines branding, which of course normally is further at the front of the aircraft, towards the very tail of the aircraft. We then also have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust, although a bit difficult to see, but dark grey on dark blue is difficult to show. Then at the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage actually we again have another salmon in this really rather stunning and beautiful design. At the front of the aircraft we then also find some static ports hidden in this design, so that's quite lovely. They haven't skipped on that. Next to the cabin door we have the explanation and the name of this livery, and we also have some lovely details in the cabin doors actually throughout the entire aircraft. So also here NG Models has not skipped out on details just because we have an elaborate livery. Also a look at the cockpit section reveals that NG Models is not skipping out on details, even though some of them are difficult to see. The dark grey petro-tubes or sensors that we have on the dark blue part of the livery can be difficult to see, but they are there. What is also there are, of course, the cockpit windows with the window wipers, and above that we have the 3 digits of the registration code. Furthermore, then on the other side we also find the specification of operated by Alaska Airlines and the name of the aircraft once again. Then on the engine itself we of course have the continuation of the lovely design we find on the fuselage. What we also find here is the print of the silver leading edge and safety markings, so also here NG Models does not skip details just because we have an elaborate livery, so that's quite lovely. Also the physical detailing of these engines is actually really rather nice, especially also here from the front, very nice. You can see the engine fan blades. Then on the fuselage, just above the wings, we have the emergency exits printed on, which leads us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at, starting off with the top side, where we have the different flaps, slats and spoilers carved out quite nicely actually. And then we also have the markings as to where to walk on the wing, and of course the markings for the emergency exits printed on. The underside of the wings offers us more nice physical detailing. Then we also have these lovely split scimitars where NG Models has done a really great job in replicating them. And also here we find some lovely details of the livery. My highlight, however, on the wings is the addition of the landing lights. Now before we take a look at the remaining details, there is a quick message from our sponsor today. Are you looking for new Scale 400 models? Then look no further, the FMB Shop has got you covered. With NG Models, JC Wings and Gemini Jets, the FMB Shop has got some of the best models in the business. And even better, with day one discounts, pre-order discounts and every now and then special offers, and with what I like to call prices like in the good old days, the FMB Shop website and Instagram account are always worth a look. They do of course also have scale 500 and 200 on offer. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner, so find your next favorite aircraft model or the best Christmas present of this year by following the links in the video description below. The landing gear on this aircraft model is the standard landing gear that NG Models uses for all their 737-800 aircraft models, which is made entirely out of metal, except of course for the wheels themselves. They are made out of plastic. What I really do like here is as well that we find some printed details at the front landing gear, and for those who like that, it is a rolling landing gear. Now also on the belly of the aircraft we find a lot of really cool and interesting details. For example, we have carved out, basically the slots where the wheels would retract into on a 737. We have some lovely printed details both here around the main landing gear section, but also at the front of the aircraft. And of course we also have some physical antennas, which is always a lovely detail, and they are really sturdy, so well done here from NG Models. Physical antennas we don't just find on the belly of the aircraft, but we do also find at least one of them at the top of the aircraft, where we then also have a sat dome, and of course also here plenty of small prints across the entire fuselage. So also here NG Models goes all out when it comes to detailing, and that is continued of course also with the addition of the doors to the cargo compartments, which have been printed on here at the back of the aircraft and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 737-800 in the special Salmon People livery of Alaska Airlines from NG Models in scale 1 to 400. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Now, as you have noticed throughout the video, I've been very focused on seeing if NG Models would skip any details because of the elaborate livery. And maybe I'm just a burnt child here, because from scale 500 we're used to it with Harper Wings, having many models that are simply carried by the livery itself and then very little effort by Harper Wings. But that's definitely not the case with NG Model, at least not on this aircraft model, because NG Models has done an outstanding job adding all the details you would like to see on an aircraft model, and then also have this really awesome and elaborate livery and execute it really rather well. But it is not just the print where NG Models succeeds with this aircraft model. I also really do like their mold for the 737 and the overall physical detailing of this aircraft model. Something like, for example, the physical antennas, of course, much easier executed in scale 400 than in, for example, scale 500, but they do also need to be sturdy, and they are. So that is lovely, because there's nothing more annoying than having a lovely detailed aircraft model, but where you're just afraid to even handle the model, taking it out of the box, being afraid that details would break. And that's not the case with this aircraft model. It is solid as a rock. And all that taken into consideration is also the reason why I would say this model is absolutely worth having in one's collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, and if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, thanks so much for watching, hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.